The story for today is all about the true responsibility wasn't just about doing a task. It was about understanding its significance, its connection to others, and the impact of our own actions. Maya stared at her reflection in the dusty window of the Green Thumb, her grandmother's once vibrant plant nursery. At 16, Maya felt the weight of unspoken expectations. Her grandmother, Elena, a woman whose hands knew the language of the earth, was recovering from a fall, and the nursery, Elena's life's work, was slowly wilting. "It needs more than water, Maya," Elena had whispered from her hospital bed, her voice frail, but her eyes still sharp. "It needs respect." Maya scoffed inwardly. Respect? She respected her grandmother, of course. But the nursery felt like a chore, a relic of a bygone era in her fast-paced digital world. Her phone buzzed with notifications, friends at the mall, a new game level to conquer. The nursery, with its endless rows of thirsty plants and dusty pots, couldn't compete. Returning home from the hospital, the silence of the empty house pressed in on her. Elena's absence was a gaping hole, and the responsibility of the nursery now fell squarely on Maya's shoulders. She wandered through the overgrown aisles, the air heavy with the scent of neglect. A wilting rose bush drooped sadly, its petals brown and brittle. "Some respect you're getting," Maya muttered to the plant, feeling a pang of something she couldn't quite name. The first few days were a disaster. Maya watered erratically, forgetting some plants entirely and drowning others. She tried to prune but ended up hacking at branches rather than shaping them. The once neat rows became a chaotic tangle. Each wilting leaf felt like a reproach, a testament to her lack of care. Her friends, seeing her stressed, suggested she just let it go. "It's just a bunch of plants, Maya," Chloe had said. No big deal. But to Maya, it was beginning to feel like a very big deal indeed. One afternoon, a regular customer, Mr. Henderson, a kind elderly man who always bought a single violet for his late wife, came in. He looked around with a sad expression. "Elena put so much love into this place," he sighed, picking up a pot of half-dead basil. "It's a shame." His words, gentle as they were, stung more than any scolding. Maya felt a flush of shame creep up her neck. She mumbled an apology, offering him a discount on a healthier plant she'd somehow managed to keep alive. That evening, staring at her reflection again, Maya saw not just her own face, but the reflection of the struggling nursery behind her. She saw the disappointed eyes of Mr. Henderson, the wilting rose, and heard her grandmother's quiet plea. Maybe, just maybe, there was more to this than just watering plants. Maybe it was about respect for the life in her hands, for her grandmother's legacy, and for the responsibility she had reluctantly taken on. The thought was a small, fragile seed, but it had begun to sprout. The next morning, something shifted in Maya. Instead of seeing a burden, she started to see a challenge. Elena's words echoed in her mind. "It needs respect." What did that truly mean? She began by observing. She watched how the morning sun hit different sections of the nursery, noticing which plants thrived in direct light and which preferred shade. She researched online, poring over articles about plant care, soil types, and pruning techniques. The digital world, usually a source of distraction, became a tool for learning. Her first act of true respect was to meticulously clean the nursery. She swept away dust, organized pots, and polished the display shelves. It was backbreaking work, but as the grime disappeared, a sense of order began to emerge. The plants, though still struggling, seemed to breathe a little easier in the cleaner environment. Then came the real work, understanding each plant. She learned the names of the different species, their individual needs, and their growth cycles. She discovered that the wilting rose bush needed specific fertilizer and careful pruning to encourage new blooms. The thirsty ferns required constant moisture and indirect light. It wasn't just about watering, it was about listening to what each plant silently communicated. Maya started waking up earlier, her mornings no longer dominated by her phone but by the rhythmic sounds of the nursery. She found a strange satisfaction in the damp earth on her hands, the earthy scent of the soil, and the quiet contemplation of tending to living things. She learned to identify pests and diseases and how to treat them with organic solutions, determined to keep the nursery chemical-free, just as Elena had always done. Her friends noticed the change. "You're always covered in dirt these days," Liam commented, but his tone was more curious than critical. Chloe, surprisingly, offered to help one afternoon. Maya, initially hesitant, soon appreciated the extra hands. She taught Chloe how to repot seedlings and deadhead spent blooms. Chloe, initially bored, found herself captivated by the tiny, emerging life in her hands. One afternoon, while meticulously tending to a row of struggling herbs, Maya found an old, leather-bound journal tucked away on Elena's potting bench. It was Elena's gardening diary, filled with handwritten notes, observations, and even little sketches of plants. Maya read about the early days of the green thumb, Elena's struggles, her triumphs, and her deep connection to every living thing in the nursery. Elena's passion practically seeped from the pages. Reading her grandmother's words, Maya felt a profound shift. This wasn't just a business. It was a legacy, a testament to a life dedicated to nurturing. Elena hadn't just grown plants. She had grown a community, a haven of green in a bustling world. And now, that responsibility, that beautiful legacy, was hers to uphold. She realized that respect wasn't just about the plants. It was about honoring the person who had brought them to life. Weeks turned into a month, and the nursery slowly but surely began to transform. The wilting rose bush, once a symbol of neglect, now sported new, vibrant green leaves and tiny, promising buds. The ferns unfurled their fronds with renewed vigor. The air, once heavy with the scent of decay, now hummed with the sweet perfume of blooming flowers. Maya, too, had transformed. Her hands, once soft and uncalloused, were now strong and stained with earth. Her mind, once buzzing with digital distractions, now found peace in the quiet rhythm of the nursery. She discovered a deep satisfaction in the meticulous work, in seeing the tangible results of her efforts. She started experimenting with new ideas. She created a small, healing corner for struggling plants, giving them extra attention and care. She set up a propagation station, where customers could learn how to grow new plants from cuttings, encouraging a shared sense of responsibility for living things. She even designed new, aesthetically pleasing displays, drawing on her innate artistic flair. Her grandmother, Elena, finally returned home from the hospital. Her first request was to be taken to the nursery. Maya, nervous but proud, wheeled her in. Elena's eyes, though still a little weak, widened as she took in the sight. The clean aisles, the vibrant colors, the healthy plants. It was almost as if the nursery had taken a deep breath and exhaled new life. "Maya," Elena whispered, a tear tracing a path down her wrinkled cheek. "It's beautiful, more beautiful than I remember." Maya's heart swelled with a warmth she hadn't felt before. "I read your journal, Grandma," she said, her voice a little choked. "I understand now, about the respect." Elena reached out a hand, grasping Maya's. "You didn't just water the plants, Maya," she said, using her old term of endearment. "You watered my soul." The gratitude in Elena's eyes was more rewarding than any praise. Maya realized that true responsibility wasn't just about doing a task. It was about understanding its significance, its connection to others, and the impact of her actions. It was about honoring the past while nurturing the future. Word of the revitalized green thumb spread. New customers, drawn by the vibrant displays and healthy plants, started to frequent the nursery. Old customers, like Mr. Henderson, returned with smiles, marveling at the transformation. He even brought Maya a small, handmade card expressing his gratitude for bringing life back to Elena's sanctuary. As the seasons changed, so did Maya's understanding of her role. The nursery wasn't just a place of work, It was a classroom, a sanctuary, and a source of profound connection. She learned about the delicate balance of nature, the interconnectedness of all living things, and the quiet strength of perseverance. One brisk autumn morning, as Maya was arranging a display of chrysanthemums, a young girl, no older than 10, approached her shyly. "Excuse me," she said. "My mom said you're really good with plants. I have a little sunflower at home, but it's not growing very well." Maya smiled warmly. Gone was the impatient teenager who saw only a chore. "Bring it in, sweetie," she said. "Let's see what we can do." She spent the next hour with the girl, explaining the basics of sunlight, water, and soil, showing her how to gently check the roots and trim away dead leaves. The girl's eyes lit up with understanding and excitement. As she left, clutching her now rejuvenated sunflower, she turned back and said, "Thank you, Maya. You really respect the plants." That simple statement resonated deeply with Maya. It wasn't just about the plants anymore. It was about sharing that respect, that knowledge, and inspiring it in others. She realized the ripple effect of her actions, how her renewed dedication to the nursery was not only preserving her grandmother's legacy, but also cultivating a new generation of green thumbs. Elena, now stronger, spent her afternoons sitting on a bench in the nursery, her eyes twinkling as she watched Maya work. Sometimes, they would talk for hours, Elena sharing old stories about the plants, Maya recounting her new discoveries. These were moments of shared gratitude, Elena for Maya's dedication, and Maya for the invaluable lessons her grandmother had taught her. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the flourishing nursery, Maya stood amongst the plants, a sense of profound peace settling over her. Her hands, calloused and strong, held a small, newly bloomed rose, a descendant of the very bush she had almost given up on. Its petals, a rich velvety red, were soft against her skin. She thought about her journey, the initial reluctance, the struggle, the slow unfolding of understanding, and finally, the blossoming of responsibility and gratitude. She had learned that respect was not just a word. It was an action, a way of being. Responsibility wasn't a burden. It was an opportunity to nurture, to create, and to contribute. And gratitude wasn't just about saying thank you. It was about living a life that honored the gifts she had been given. The nursery, once a fading garden, was now a testament to life, resilience, and the enduring power of care. And Maya, the girl who once saw only chores, had grown into a young woman rooted in purpose, blossoming with every sunrise, just like the plants she so lovingly tended. The seeds of respect, responsibility, and gratitude had been planted, nurtured, and had now yielded a most beautiful harvest.